Ahoy, and welcome back to day 3, 4, 3.5 here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Fast Friday, Bobby Fast Friday, and man, do we have a little bit to talk about.
Quite a bit. I guess to start things off, as expected, Ganassi is fast.
Yeah, Sato in his first mock quality run goes 234, then almost goes into the wall.
And that's signature Sato. Same situation as last year. Just got loose or something out of 2, nearly slapped it with the right rear, but I don't think he actually made any contact.
There were quite a few close calls today, for sure. Will Power had one. I think the second closest to Sato was Stephen Wilson.
Yeah, he also had there was a lot of almost moments. The wind was decent today, not as bad as it could have been, but definitely a few close calls.
So we've been talking about teams that have been in trouble, and definitely at the top of the list, Callum Ilott. Now yesterday we did talk about them potentially changing chassis, and they are actually in the process of changing their chassis right now. They've been working on it for half of today. They only ran a handful of laps with the car that they've ran all week, so tomorrow the car is going to run out there with a completely different chassis, which is something that we heard all week was going to happen.
And it's definitely weird to see it so last minute. You'd think they would have wanted to do it last night, yesterday, not lose a day with the boost, but his fastest time was like a 2:28, so they're definitely not looking very good right now.
On the flip side, Canapino has actually been pretty decent. They've actually had some pretty decent pace throughout the week. Now, is it front running pace? No, it's mid-pack at best. But in comparison, I don't really think they're a threat to get bumped.
Yeah, Canapino, he's going to be solidly mid-pack. I think he'll be locked in tomorrow night.
Now, do you want to talk about a team that right now is fucked? Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. They've had a very tough time of it. Of course, Graham Rahal goes out in the first hour of practice here and almost smacks the wall. Now, that wasn't today. That was on Wednesday, so don't worry. It didn't happen almost again. But they've just struggled for pace. And, oh boy. And a friend of ours pointed out that's what happens when you have F1 engineers here at Indy. They know how to make a car for the road course. They don't really know how to make a car for the oval, and it shows once again.
And, you know, I was dogging on Catherine Legg yesterday, but she has been the fastest of the Rahal cars, which isn't saying a lot. She's in 29th. And then the other three, Jack Harvey, who lost a turbo, we think, at the end of the session, brought out a yellow with 6 or so minutes left. Then we got Christian Lundgaard, and then Graham Rahal, is 33rd. So all 4 Rahal cars clustered together in the rear there.
And let me put it like this. As we have James Hinchcliffe just going by. So Rahal, we knew that they were going to be in trouble, and it's a rough road for them right now. All of their cars are on the bottom end of the speed charts. Now, they're above the 230 mark, which is one thing that they can say over Callum Ilott. However, when you're over 230 at the bottom end of the field, it just shows how quick this field currently is. Now, speaking of quick, 243, the fastest trap speed on the entry to turn 3 by Pato O'Ward.
I mean, the trap speeds are up. The speeds are up overall. I mean, Sato's best lap was a 2:34.7, and it seems to be pretty believed that in order to get the pole this weekend, you're going to have to break a record.
Very, very much so. I mean, last year we saw a 2:34 average by Scott Dixon. Now, the quickest mock run of the day was Joseph Newgarden in the Shell Team Penske. I guess it's the Power of Progress. That's what they're calling it. He set the fastest mock 4-lap attempt, which shows that Team Penske is actually on a little bit of a resurgence. The last couple years, they've been dog shit. Let's be fair. Yeah. But they've actually had a pretty decent week so far. They've been relatively quiet, but today they were throwing up numbers.
And I mean, I want to say I'm shocked, but also I'm not. But qualifying is qualifying. Race pace-wise, they still don't seem like they're fully able to contend with the CGR boys. But I mean, you know, I expect to at least see 2 Team Penske cars in the Fast 12.
Yeah, I mean, that's very solid guess. I mean, obviously, Power and Newgarden are going to be the 2 favorites for that, but don't discount Scott McLaughlin. On to the next thing. and this is something that just came to us within the last couple minutes, that apparently, and I'm going to take my sunglasses off for this one, apparently Scott Dixon blew a motor today, or this afternoon on his final mock quali run. That's a little bit of a shock. That team has been, on rails all weekend. To hear the news potentially that Scott Dixon blew a motor, that's a big one.
It is. I mean, what can you do? We had two Hondas go today. We had two Hondas go, I think, during the GP weekend.
Yeah.
So maybe a reliability question coming into play here, but we didn't really get to see what Dixon had today.
And that's actually going to be my wrap-up point, but Honda has had some issues with reliability this month. It's kind of reminiscent of 2017.
Not as extreme, but definitely weird that we lost two today.
Yeah, for sure. Now then, predictions for tomorrow. It's hard to bet against Chip Ganassi Racing. I think we're going to see that Big Dick Energy run wild and free all over the grounds once again. I mean, Sato with a 234 right off the bat. It's hard to bet against Ganassi for the pole. It really is.
Yeah, I like Ganassi's chances, obviously. Team Penske's chances, they look really strong. McLaren, they made some great steps today. I think McLaren's going to be a factor, so the big three, of course, but you're not going to knock Ganassi off that front row or that pole. No way.
No, and here's the thing. There is more in those Ganassi cars. Now, one note I wanted to make real quick is that Marco Andretti ended up today P2. Now, that's because he got a fucking tow. He was the one driver that wanted to get a tow, and guess what? He was still second behind Takuma Sato, who did an actual mock run without a tow. Fucking Marco, man.
I got nothing.
Okay. Fucking Marco, man. But anyways, that kind of wraps it up for this segment. Now we're going to get to what y'all came here for. Leave it to Beaver.
Boy, oh boy, what an incredible, another incredible day at the racetrack. There is no such thing as a bad day at the racetrack, unless your last name is Ray Ha, or you're Jack Harvey, or definitely DeFrancesco, because guess what? You're out of a job. Man, oh man, I cannot believe the speeds we saw today. Everybody was running 230s. Those 230s were being thrown out there faster than my brisket on the board. It just keeps going away. It was so quick. It was so blazing fast. I couldn't believe it. The only thing I can believe is the fact that probably Graham Rahal is going to get bumped out of this field. The only thing that's saving his dumb ass is the fact that Cal Madelot's back there right now, slaving away, replacing the chassis. But guess what we saw? One of the most famous moments in history was the same situation with Kyle Kaiser, and who they take out? Alonso and McLaren. So guess what, Rahal? You can have your F1 engineers, but they ain't McLaren engineers. They can be better if they want, but you still just that slow. So you ain't going home, son. You're done. You're done. Jack Harvey, like I said, you was out of a job. You just blew that turbo. Now they're back there fixing your mistakes. Definitely, Francesco, I don't even need to talk about you. You're so dang slow. I could take a shit in my bathrooms faster than you could drive that car. Where was I? I met Mario Andretti. That was pretty cool. That was nice. I enjoyed that. How about my boy Scotty McLaughlin? He was out there pretty fast too. Christian Lundgaard, yeah, he was all right. He wasn't as fast. He was faster than Ray Hall, which means it isn't saying a lot, but it says something at least. At least he's in the show. There's that. He has that going for him. It's raining, so I gotta wrap this up. Ray Hall sucks. That's it.